We are live. We're up.
Hello everyone, welcome to Meshery Development Meeting. This is a meeting where we discuss different aspects of Meshery, which is a CNCF project, and it's about cloud native management, and it helps you manage your infrastructure across multiple Kubernetes clusters. So in case you're new and you haven't checked out the project, make sure you go to meshery.io to learn more about the project. And if you like the project, make sure you start it so that will be your first way of contributing to the project. And so this is a meeting where we discuss front end and back end related stuff for the project. And today is November 22nd. So we'll just start with our meeting. First of all, few housekeeping item, that is, if you are new on the call and you have not added a name on the meeting minutes, then there's a link in the chat which you can use to write your name in the attendees list so that we don't miss you out. And the second thing is, like, we always give our newcomers an opportunity to introduce themselves so that everybody in the community could get a chance to know them and we could hang around together for longer time. So let's see who is new today. I think everybody is old timers, so that is good. Yeah. Okay. So that means we can start with our first item, which is Meshery model importer from Isaki.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we don't have Zaki on just yet. Actually, we have a couple of topics around components. So my topic is around components today, and Uzair's topic is on components. And so Uzair isn't on yet either. So gosh, we should perhaps circle back to these three related topics if we can.
Okay, sure.
I'll ping both of those guys.
I think next is Akshay. Akshay, I think you haven't added your topic. Are you with us?
Yeah,
he's having exams. Oh.
So yeah. Okay. So Yash, I'm not sure if is it Yash. Yeah. So Yash might want to cover Akshay's then.
Sure.
Yeah, actually, I put the topic in the group. Okay, so this based on enhancement in the comments. So let me give you a small recap. Also, let me share the screen together too. Okay, so we recently made a couple of enhancements in the comment section in the mesh map. So if you're new, you can get the access to the mesh map and you can use the design. And so you can use the designs. Inside the designs, you can put the comments and you can collaborate with others with the comments, and you can comment and review the designs and everything. So we recently made some enhancement, like you can use now emoji picker in the comments. Now you can have a history of the comments. And for the history of the comments, we are working on that particular area. And Akshay is the person who is helping over here to implement that part. So I think he doesn't uploaded the recent changes video yet, but he, I was hoping that he will be doing till now. We meet 1 hour ago on what left and what need to be done. So there was an issue where when you put when you add a new comment in the resolved comments, that was not able to persist it. So that is now solved, and he will be working on that, and he will be also sharing the work or the tasks that are left which need to be done and when it need to be done. So I was hoping if there was video, I think he didn't write it yet to share.
Yep. So Yash, good. I take it you don't have it compiled at the moment, or and some of the changes that you would want to show and receive feedback on, those are maybe some of those are not in the playground at the moment. You can build. You can build and come back. I mean,
yeah, actually, I can build. The reason only is that he doesn't post the changes yet. Also.
Oh, okay. There's a number of people on the call that may not have seen that. They probably don't even know what you're talking about. like with respect to just comments in general on the designs. And so some of that I think it will offer it if you're able to just show even things that are dated as of like a week ago, that would still probably enlighten some folks and give them an opportunity to give you some feedback.
Okay, I think I will come back with the
Okay.
changes.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
that
sure.
would be like nice.
Yeah, or even actually that video there, actually so that everyone's understanding what's Yash is demoing here is the fact that as you design your infrastructure and you are well trying to be meticulous about it and having other people review it and making sure that your infrastructure is deployed how you'd like for it to be or configured like you'd like for it to be. There are new features in MeshMap to help with that. So one of those is the ability to do asynchronous or even synchronous reviews, design reviews, using comments is one of the tools that's available. So as you have a design like this, you're able to place a comment anywhere on the canvas about whatever, about the design. You can have just like it's basically the same sort of functionality that you would find inside of Google Docs. You would find here for comments anyway. So multiple people can have a discussion inside of a comment thread. It can be resolved or reopened. There's a comment window that you can click to open for the history of comments to the extent that some have been resolved. You can tag people. You can mention them by doing the @ symbol or the ampersand with their name. You'll get a pick list of the users. You can also drop in emojis by just doing like you'll be typing and you do a colon, and you type the name of the emoji, and it'll show. This isn't the latest video. I don't think that maybe shows that, but yep, there's a couple of contributors, Yash and Akshay, who've been working in this area, and they're almost done. And so I think that the final thing that they're tying off is just the comment history. Really, it's mostly about so this is a nice demo of how you can mention someone and have, do some emojis and also have, have an email sent to them when they get mentioned. And so, Yash, are there particular aspects of this that you might be looking for feedback on? So you can hover on that, the mention of the user, and you get a little more info about the user. Looks like if you needed to reference maybe their public profile, you could go there, click on their avatar. Looks like that you get their email address as well in case you need to email them. So what actions can you do on it once the comment is placed? What's the life cycle of the comment from there?
Yeah. So after placing the comment inside the design, you can have multiple options. One of is you can comments, and one of is like you can resolve a comment and you can delete a comment. So one of the resolving means you are capturing the history of the comment. So after resolving, the comment component will get hide from the canvas, and you will be able to see the history from the comment button over there. But the delete means if you delete a comment, that will delete the history also, and it will also delete the same component from canvas. So this is a little difference between resolve and the delete. But yeah, resolve is one of the feature that you will be getting on over there. And after resolving a comment, this will hide the component, and you will be able to see the history of over there. And not only of the one comment, you can add multiple comments and resolve multiple comments, and you will be able to see the multiple comments history over there. Yeah, so this is one of the life cycle.
Open a comment, multiple people, all the things that you just said, but what about reopening a comment that's been resolved?
Yeah.
Is that a possibility?
Yeah, it is possible. Like if you it's like a same like a Google Doc, so it will show you the history of the comments. You can add anything, any message in the comment, and as you will add the any message, it will reopen that. It will unresolve that comment, and it will reopen that inside the canvas, and you will be able to click on that and again start your conversation.
Nice. So, okay, so reopening is just an implicit part of adding another activity, adding another portion to the thread. It will just reopen, and where does the comment then show back on the canvas if it's reopened?
It will be show on the original place from where it gets resolved.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah.
Just okay. If people, I'm curious, I don't know if you have a system available, or if maybe anybody has like the playground up. I'm curious, if you were to make maybe multiple comments in a row, just like 2 or 3 times, if you were to click the comment action, at one point I'd seen any number of components more or less landing in the same spot, and they ended up overlapping each other. It was a little bit confusing. Is that a concern that we still have?
Yeah, I think it is. It gets placed at the same place and it gets overlap, and you cannot like
Okay.
displace them unless you click on them multiple times.
Actually, we can make the position a bit random, so they would be scattered around the origin.
That'd be great.
Or I wonder if, or also I wonder if that is not a problem, because as we will remove the action from the toolbar of the comment, it will be not a problem, because now I think from the doc you will drag a component or you can click on that.
We can do both. We can drag it and we can also drop it in the center. So the problem will exist if we don't randomize it.
There's an opportunity in here, I think, to show off some work that Abid has done and maybe Akshay has done. If you were to put a different type of shape or some other component or onto the canvas as well. Now, you said that these comments would be overlapping, and it would be difficult to figure out, to grab the one that you want. If I recall, there are tools for z-indexing, tools for moving things back and forth. Josh, are you able to show that? What's that?
Yeah, we have z-indexing and we can move backward, move forward, and also move to back completely. Like if there are multiple overlapping elements, we can just then move to back and it will be at the last, and same move to front. This
Nice.
is the indexing.
Good. Hey, I'm sorry for like taking over the discussion. I just figured that for some of us on the call, it had been a beat maybe since we'd seen some of these later features. So it was nice to explore. So we've got this design review functionality kind of centered around a relatively rich set of features. Oh, that's nice. You can, so you get type ahead feedback if you want to tag somebody. So I assume they get an email. Do you
also get the tooltip, more details?
Oh, nice. If you want to, okay. So eventually you'll be able to click to see more about them or grab their email if you need to. And I know there's a lot of inspiration being taken from Google Docs, which hopefully makes a lot of the user interaction here relatively familiar. In Google Docs, if I recall, if you make a comment, you tag somebody, yep, they get an email. They don't actually, it takes a little while. It takes like 10 minutes or so, I think, before they get the email. I'm assuming that's on purpose to help prevent accidental spam but I don't think in Google Docs, I don't think you get any like toaster notifications or notifications in Google Docs about unless you get disconnected from the internet, it tells you, oh, you're disconnected and your changes won't be saved. But in this case, this app that we have, it does have notifications letting you know like system activities and what's going on. And there's been a whole slew of new features around notification management. Yash, can you show that real fast? Can you just bring open the notification center?
Yeah.
I wonder, to the extent that there's some background activity in which a user is being emailed, this is an open question. Would it make sense to show briefly that this individual has been emailed?
Not sure about this user has been emailed. Like, why do we want to let everyone know that this person emailed this person or mentioned this person?
Would it let everyone know? Or do you mean just the user?
I think if we are going to show that inside the notification center, it will be for everyone.
One thing we can do is when we tag someone, like
Actually, it's a good point of clarification. Just no. These notifications are on a per user basis. Now, eventually, and so Yash, I don't know if that changes your perspective.
In that case, it will be not showing for everyone. But yeah, user will get notified that this person is get mentioned and you email them, and the person who get mentioned also get the notification.
One question regarding this is like, do we track the unread message? Like, so we might then show on the comment, like how many unread messages are there?
No, right now we are not tracking the unread message because for unread message, it will be for every user who did that. So it might be it will need a little more discussion to be made before implementation.
Yeah, that'd be great. That actually has been an issue of mine that I haven't been sure if people have said something to me in some comments. One, because I wasn't getting an email just yet, but two, because there wasn't so I don't know, very simply to start with, there could just be a notification count or a thread count. That's a very poor man's way of, we wouldn't want to confuse it with like the fact that there's new messages. That would have to be different. But potentially just showing that number, not necessarily as a badge, but just on top of the node itself, or like inside of the node itself.
Yeah, if we can track that, if we implement that logic, we can show that in the.
Yeah, I mean, without implementing the logic, I'm talking about displaying it differently such that you're showing the total count, not the unread count. Something to do in the meantime.
That can be possible.
Interesting. All right, good. Okay. And then the other thing that I thought would be great for people to see, and part of the reason we're dragging out this particular discussion is that I don't know that a lot of people have necessarily had a moment to, well, check out the whiteboarding features or the diagramming features. This is to say that Meshery is becoming, has a growing repository of components that we're going to talk about in a little bit, that don't directly represent your infrastructure. They are annotations, things like a square or a line, that don't necessarily represent a network connection, but just a line because you wanted to have a line because that's how you model it in your head. So Meshery understands the difference between annotations in many different colors and flavors and shapes and sizes, and infrastructure components. And so in a very real way, this is like an Excali draw or a TL draw or a Miro. Miro is pretty there's a lot of functionality in there. We wouldn't want to, but just in terms of the ability to diagram visually, I think there's just like the ability to use a pen or a pencil. Maybe that's one of the only features that might be missing here. So good. Okay. I don't know if anybody has any questions or other comments about this, about comments about comments, but yeah, there's yeah, to Daniel's point, previously, if you're trying to, if you Mr. Sharma, if you were to drag over a couple of infrastructure components, there's a lot of them, for various projects, and Meshery, can provision any of these and let you configure them, and arguably, like almost let you configure them too deeply. It's a little bit of a pain point, I think, for users who unsuspecting users who are just trying to deploy like a container, and they just wanted to provide the image name and that's it. And they weren't aware of all the other things that they could configure. There's a lot that gets exposed, and that's powerful. Also makes things less simple, but we're building power tools here, not kitty tools or whatever. However, it is, even though there's all those infrastructure components that you can place onto the canvas and put in different positions and interrelate in various ways, and those relationships have meaning behind them, it isn't always enough. It isn't always how people mentally model their infrastructure. They might think of, instead of it being this upside down triangle or an arrowhead, they might think of it as an endpoint slice. They might think of, in their mind, that's like a pentagon or whatever. All of that should be configurable, and I think is very much on the verge of being configurable. So just to help prove my point, Yash, if you were to grab a shape or two and start with one shape, like a rounded rectangle, and perhaps decide that you'd rather that was a triangle or parallelogram or something else. So you're able to take existing shapes and change their shape. So if you've invested in like diagramming it and having it represent a certain way, you can come back and change that shape. Abid, is the intention here to also allow people to more or less manipulate shape and color and stroke color and all of those same things, but on the infrastructure components as well?
Yeah, actually, we're just on, as you said, on the verge of now having it for all the components. So we can
okay. And if someone
manipulate the components, and also one other thing that's on the list is to convert from these annotation component shapes to actual infrastructure components.
Okay. Just to clarify, like if somebody, that cluster role right there, it's a Kubernetes object, it's the Kubernetes blue. It's, if you provision it, you will get a new cluster role. It is a rounded rectangle. It's, like it has various visual, it has that people plus icon. Like if the blue, the color, the shape, the icon, even if are you saying people can eventually change those things
Yeah,
and it would still represent, Meshery would still manage it as it would manage like a cluster role?
Yeah, we can visually manipulate it in any way, but that won't change the infrastructure meaning.
I'll be curious to see what people come up with in some of their diagrams then, because it sounds like you're able to draw a number of things. It's a drawing program plus an orchestration, with the ability to orchestrate component. These components, some of them have meaning, some of them don't, and it's your choice. It's what it sounds like. So, okay.
Yeah, also with like these comments and notes, they would also have shared knowledge base inside the designs themselves.
Is there an example of that? Like, how does that text box there and something like that, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. I see. So, okay. Okay. And okay, I get it. Then you can share this with other users. They can add their notes. So, okay. So it isn't just commenting, but it's also, okay. Well, I thought, so isn't there like a design info, like a document details? Yash, where is that?
Yeah. So if you like open the
Yeah,
drawer,
Yeah,
I think I will just.
Yash, yeah. Actually, to
Yeah,
the
actually, I'm doing.
okay. Oh,
I'm
it's-
trying.
Sorry, I thought Yash was sharing. It's like, yeah, a picture's worth 1,000 words, which is like the point of the part of this project. Good, cool, perfect. Yeah, okay, so there is under designs, part of the, okay, yeah, each design. Okay, so another way of capturing details about the, okay. I'm curious, for some of you on the call, this is very familiar. Some of you have built these things. Some of you have published some of these. Some of you have yet to get your 15 minutes of internet fame, maybe, by publishing one of these. But I'm reminded of publishing because I thought the publishing window looks really similar. How do you?
Now we have to click on the publish icon here and go publish.
Okay, yeah, maybe if you own it or something, or maybe. Okay.
Yeah, actually, I'm not on the latest Meshery UI build.
Oh, okay. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, thanks for this. This clarifies some things in my mind. I mean, it wasn't quite clear how far some of those diagramming utilities had come. So I mean, just even as like a teaching tool, or just getting on the same page. So even if people don't use the much more powerful sort of infrastructure provisioning stuff, it's still just useful as a
Diagramming their infrastructure and sharing it using the embedding or just taking a screenshot. That's also possible.
so screenshots I get, okay, and so you just exported a screenshot, but embedding, what you mean?
Yeah, we can export a design in multiple ways, like how it was first imported in the original source, the current snapshot of the design. And another new thing is the embedding. So once we start embedding, we can download the embed script and just put the shortcode in any supported system which supports HTML, CSS, and we'll get a live version of the current snapshot of the design, which is a bit interactive, not like just a screenshot, which will be more interactive.
Interactive engineering docs, I guess. Is there an example of that? Right? Does that work?
Actually,
No. By the way, I'm assuming if anybody else has questions, they're going to be asking them. So please interrupt. I think some of you guys have asked like how to publish to the catalog in the past. And now is a great time for that question. So okay. So all right. So this is interactive, what you're showing, I see. And this is just a regular website with, yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, can be customized a bit also, like the colors.
And so if somebody messes with the design here, though, is that messing with the original?
No, this is just a static snapshot of the design when it was embedded.
Okay. Huh. Wow. Okay. Huh. Thanks a bunch for that. Very neat.
Anybody has any more questions? Thank you, Yash, Lee, and Abid for such a great explanation. So moving on to our next item, I think Zaki just joined. Should we discuss about this model importer? Come on, Zaki, would you like to discuss?
Yes,
Okay.
Pranav. One second. Hello, everyone. Uh, I'm working on this system experimental system model command. I think it is in experimental. It is model command that lists model in the terminal in Meshery CTL. So like this, and if you want to see any of the models did more detail, there is another command for seeing its detail. And for output option, we have to output format YAML and JSON. So in this case, we are using YAML, JSON, and YAML is default format. It will show, and if any models have two versions, like Kong, here Kong. So it will first it will ask about which version you want to show information, and then it will show. Like this, and then it will show. Yes.
No, I was wondering who else was like fairly impressed by this. Zaki, do you recall how recent your Meshery server build is? Did you build like today or yesterday?
Today.
Oh, okay. I'm curious, like there's a couple of new components that were recently registered that they're AWS components.
One second, I check.
Yeah. And I haven't seen them inside of Meshery UI, but this utility, this command, looks like it could fairly quickly help hunt down.
So, sorry, I forgot that I have implemented pagination in this. So I have showed you only first page. So when you pass second page, it will show other.
Nice. Of that pagination. Okay, good. Awesome. Good. We'll have to do something about that pagination because that
It shows 25 models per page.
makes sense, but that UX won't work for sure. No one will ever understand that or get that. Or there's examples of, so this is great work. I'm not trying to be critical, but rather trying to help make it useful, which is, I mean, one, no one was told that was there. Two, no one's going to want to do that. Three, there's other interactive ways of like saying, do you want to see the next page? They can just hit yes or next or N or.
Yes, I can do this.
Oh, nice. Or just minimum.
I followed this from I think filter command. It was already implemented by, so I thought that it is a norm of Meshery CTL. So to be consistent, I'm implemented this in this way.
That I can't, you've just taken away any argument that I could make. That's a perfect response. Yep. Yeah. Okay. That filter command is not the best. Or there's another one that there was a maintainer, gosh, it's been a couple of years. I forget how to say his name. But he had worked a lot on Meshery CTL perf. There's hundreds of thousands of performance profiles. And so he had a real challenge he really tackled that challenge head on of like how to do search or how to, that's probably, if you can go look at that command, if you don't mind, and see if.
Yes.
Okay.
I think one second, I'll show you. You are, no, this is, you want to do that. You are saying of asking users for next page. Like, one second, 30 lines.
Oh, like, was that an example? Do you want to see all 130 lines?
No, I will see that. I don't know my terminal why hanging today.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then arguably, yeah. Anyway, good. I'm sure that you will. I'm curious if you were to do a search for the term AWS. I'm curious what all components or what all models come back.
I didn't implemented search functionality in this.
Oh, I see. Okay. If when you looked at Kong earlier and you sort of showed the details of Kong, if you had misspelled Kong, what might be the behavior?
Yes, it will show a message like no models.
Nice. If you remove the H, do we happen to tell anyone, oh, did you mean Kong? Like, or did you? Okay.
No, not that.
Yeah. Okay.
We want that kind of functionality.
Well, or I hesitate to give explicit guidance. Sometimes that gets me in trouble, or it gets us in trouble, or it prevents you from having a better idea. I would say that in general, we want to handhold the user and let them know, oh, hey, we're only showing you 25. There's 400 more, and here's how you can parse those. Or, hey, you might have mistyped this. Did you mean this? Or you said KON, and there's actually Kong and Kong Mesh. And so I'll just show you both of them. Or I'll try to be as helpful as possible.
Like this, Cobra Collaborator says did you mean system command?
Yeah.
Like this.
I think that might be, that could be difficult considering that.
Yes, because there are many models.
Yeah, well, or because that data is server side inside, it's not baked into Meshery CTL, where Cobra would understand in advance what all the possibilities are. So I don't know how well Cobra does that sort of thing, but anyway,
yes,
this is fantastic. We should get this experimental published so other people can play with it and give you some other feedback other than just mine.
Yes, to do this spelling functionality, we need to fetch all the models. And
Right.
we should to persist them and then ask user, you mean Kong, you mean Kong.
Yeah. Instead, you might be able to just do a search, a greedy search, and not use Cobra, but just a greedy search from the API itself to say, oh, the first port, it wouldn't have worked for system where you missed a letter in the middle. It would only have worked for something after the fact. The approach that I'm saying, I'll talk to you about it later or in Slack, but not a big deal, that one. The bigger deal probably is, one, the ability to search in general, because
Yes.
okay, cool. And then did you happen to have, there isn't functionality about importing new models by chance?
No, I asked you that time when I implemented this model. Not you. I asked Abdullah. So he said that we need to discuss this on meeting. It is not this feature is not completed or not yet discussed. So it was on hold that time in August.
Alrighty. Anybody else have thoughts here? It's the list command, model list. And is there another command other than list?
View command to view models
View. Okay.
detail. Yes.
Nice. All right. Thank you. Great. That's great.
Only two commands.
They're very helpful, though. I mean, that's. Yeah. I would suggest that search is probably the next important one.
Yes.
Like the mesh model API already supports search, so you can directly use that.
Yes.
Now, what do we have next?
Yep. Thank you, Zaki and Lee. Looks
Thank you.
Changes looks cool.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think next is Lee. Do we want to discuss this registration of new components, or should we move to the next command topic?
Everybody, I'm sick of hearing my own voice, so everyone else we should come back to me.
Okay. That I think next, if Uzair is on the call. Okay.
He messaged. He's
Okay. So I think that leaves me. So next is my item on dashboard enhancements. So we were just discussing on the last call, which was 1 week ago, that is like how we can enhance our dashboard too, so that Meshery users can have more value out of the box. So what I did was I worked on improving and giving more information to users. First of all, it's like there's a new overview page where users will get a chance to see a couple of graphs, that is on the models which we were just discussing, and connections, stats, as well as the Meshery configurations, which is designs and filters. If you are connected to an active Kubernetes cluster, then you will also see other things like nodes, namespaces, workloads like your pod deployment, daemon set, stateful set, replica set, almost everything. And then you can go to your configurations, see your config maps, secrets, and other things like horizontal pod, autoscaler, and all these things which every operator needs to know, like when they are managing their cloud native infrastructure. And it's like network, you can see network things, security, and storage. So the thing basically is like this thing, what you're viewing right now is in context of the connected Kubernetes cluster. This means like this is like a global filter. So if you switch like this, so you won't be seeing the things because it's filters based on what you're connected to. And so let me bring it back. So that is one thing, and you can click on this, any of the hyperlinks, to know more information about the particular thing, like my CPU, other capacity, node information, object labels, annotations, almost everything which you can do, which you will see when you do kubectl describe. And yeah, I know this is the thing, but we are now working on enhancements. So basically, I was working on ensuring that first, any questions on this, then I'll talk about that. Okay. So no questions. So basically now what I'm working on is first of all ensuring that like when you go to workloads, you'll see a small big numbers chart on the top of total number of things, like total number of pods, deployment, daemon sets. So you don't have to click on each of these by default, and you can see a chart view on the top, and same thing for each of the other things. And I would just be working on probably converting this into a chip like we have on other places, like a chip like this. And the next thing is just like basically improving the UI. I think Sudhanshu is also helping in improving this area. So
Yeah, maybe like
yes,
in the where we could also add a chart that would deep link to these individual tabs. So like the chart for like namespace workloads that will show the aggregate of it as a pie chart or donut, and then each pie will like deep link to the tab.
yeah, that's so. Considering there are no more questions, the next item I think is also
Pranav,
from me. Which
Pranav, are those
excuse me.
complete? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
Pranav, can you please show the dashboard again? The main
Yeah.
dashboard.
Yeah.
It's there's no change on the dashboard. Just asking. It's the old dashboard only.
Actually, this is the dashboard. Like we have got a new tab menu, and now we don't see like service mesh specific thing. I've removed that thing. Then we also had a workload table which I've removed and distributed into these things. So
Pranav,
this is
what I
dashboard.
wanted to mention is that we have a lot of pie charts here. So if we could do something different here, because it's just that repetitive part. It's not pleasing to the eye. It's not eye candy. I'm using the right word.
We discussed that we wanted to show charts because it's easier for a user to understand, because tables are generally boring. Like I thought that is the thing. So we wanted to chart, because earlier we moved to chart because that was the main thing, because everywhere we just have tables and we wanted to have a new UI. So okay, if you have any suggestions, like there is a discussion forum thread which Ritik opened last week. If you can add your comments there, we can consolidate that into.
I'll just try to mock up something that would look so eye candy more.
Sure.
Actually, we might need to add some more text or anything like to intermingle the charts, like, but we will keep the charts anyway. Actually, we might also add more charts to the other tabs, also like some aggregate information for them.
Yeah, I was just mentioning that there would be a new chart which will give a summarized view of what we are seeing right now. So yeah, that's inside.
Maybe we can add the graphs as well if pie charts or these charts are not appealing to the eyes. However, it seems fine to me as well for the UX part. So, I mean, just a suggestion I can add to the thread as well. So,
That would be helpful. Okay.
Yeah, also like we have a mock-up, like Pranav, you can take a look at that. That has some data along with the pie chart. So I'll share the link of that mock-up also inside this thread.
Okay. Okay, so any other questions on this topic?
Yeah, I have a quick one. Pranav, are those, so based on the feedback from Schlock and Venati and some harassment by Daniel, so it sounds like there's that feedback, and there might be some, and Ritik, there might be some feedback, or there might be some new things to come, and that'd be wonderful. Or at least from my perspective, and it sounds like you're accepting, do you think that these can be improved upon as well? As like that's a welcomed thing?
Yeah, definitely. Like we do need a chart for each of the selected category. That is already thing which are discussed. So
oh, nice.
It's straightforward. Yeah.
Oh, good. So my other question, Aaron, is of those tabular reports, if you will, or of those tabular dashboard sections, you mentioned, the need for some visuals here, some eye candy, to borrow from Schlock. Are there other enhancements? I wonder if that others might be able to pick up in the meantime in advance of mockups. Like one of the things, is there a list of those?
Yes, actually, I have not created an issue, but I remember basically we have to do a couple of things. convert this into a chip and
Okay. In the meantime, I suppose that's something of a call for a solicitation of feedback. Like, so I'll say a couple, like there's the icons there, they're all the same at the top. Maybe they should or shouldn't be, or if they are, maybe that's not, maybe they should be Kubernetes or something else potentially. There's some submenus here under like workload. There's a submenu and it's nice that there's an offset color. I'm just expressing opinion here, but it's nice that there's an offset color, that there's an icon next to them. Usually we have the icon on the right-hand side of the name of the thing. For some reason, or unbeknownst to me, there's a limited width to that secondary menu. And so it seems like that could go, could be put, that secondary menu could go full width, just like the, I suspect there's probably a couple of responsiveness issues that, like there always is, right, when there's a new feature. And so I'm just calling out a few of these things for those that are on the call. Hey, help needed or help wanted.
Yeah.
We want to change the, like where it says cluster in the second to right-hand column, that would be a chip instead with an icon that says, so yeah, okay, good. So there's 6 different things for people to go pick up if they want to.
I'll create issue for others to take up these items. And okay, so now moving on to next item, which is also from me. It's about adding a new policy in our mesh models construct. So there was a recent ask about adding a sibling policy. So like if you don't know, first of all, you can just quickly go out to this page on Meshery documentation to know about what Meshery models are and how they are, what's the hierarchy and what is category models, component relationship. So what I'm talking about is policy. And we have a number of different policy like hierarchical policy, binding policy. So the ask was for sibling policy, what basically means kind of determining different siblings in a given design. So what this basically does is it checks the labels, and if the labels key and value are same, then it groups them and then returns the results. So I can quickly show demo. So if currently I don't have any UI changes, just the backend changes. So I'll just show the response. If I just open this design, what this design is a very simple design which had 2 namespaces, 2 pods, and the labels are same on each of them. That is, labels on the left side is environment staging, same thing for this, and similarly on the right side it's environment prod for each of them. So now if I show the response of policy, so there would be a new thing that is group objects with matching labels. What it will return is a key value, that is a key which is environment, and then the value is staging. So what are the same items? Similarly for prod, the same item, their specific node ID, which is a unique ID which represents a node on a canvas, and the name of that. So that's the thing. Now we can just use it in a UI. I think Abid has already started working on bubble set. So any questions on
Yeah,
this?
actually, this would make it easier now. Just get, I think it's available in the response now, which things to match. Like the sibling policy, can we make it dynamic on any key value? Like rather than just being on the labels, can we make it dynamic? So
Dynamic agent for annotation, you were saying?
yeah,
Yeah, it can be done. Like, currently, I was just focusing on labels. It's just that if you want, I can just add support for annotation as well. Just one more line. I think we discussed about labels. Right? I'm not sure. Okay, I will add for annotation as well. So there could be one higher level construct that is labels, annotation. Inside of labels, you'll see labels grouping. Inside of annotation, you'll see annotation. Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Example. Okay. Okay. So if there are no questions, then we can move to our next item. which is from Ritik and Abid on, I think we just have a few minutes on mock-up for visualizer views. So Ritik and Abid would like to take over.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so this is the current view of our visualizer. So like currently we don't have a functionality for allowing users to create their own view. So like we have for the designer, so whatever you component you drop on the canvas, like if we call it as a design. Similarly for the visualizer, we are call what all the thing inside this, we are calling this as a view. So right now we don't have a tab for showing the list of the views that a user can have. So I have created a mockup for that of how it would look like. So it is going to be something like this. So yeah, and Avid is working on the implementation of this new mockup. So okay. Yeah, okay.
So it will be same
So
as like so it will be same as like a designer. Like I can
designer.
drag and drop the view,
Mm,
or do I need to click on it, or I can drag and drop?
I can explain. I guess Avid can explain better.
Yeah, actually, the new views construct for the visualizer is going to be the same as we have designs for in designer. We are going to now have views in visualizer, and views are like saved filters, like we usually filter on the colors, so like which components or nodes we want to show, we filter in the visualizer, and views are as a way to persist them and share them. So in future we can have shared views and multiple collaborators can work on the same view, and that and views are a prerequisite to that, and they have the basic functionalities that we usually have in designs, like they can be saved, they can be modified, they can be shared, and they can be deleted. So it's the early implementation of that. And one thing I would like to tell you here is that we are thinking to actually move the filtering that was previously at the top, and now we have some additional things related to views, like creating a new one, saving and renaming it. So we need to find a new place for the actual filtering options, and Ritik was suggesting to create a new tab for it, and given the fact that we don't have much space on the main canvas at the moment, we are thinking to put it in a separate tab also, the filtering.
So by default, there would be views tab which would be open, or filtering tab which would be open.
Yeah, this view
By
tab will
default,
be
we
open.
would get
Yeah,
into
so
a
the
default view at first, and I'm thinking like, so the filtering one might be open at first. Actually, this is the problem, like having the filtering in a separate tab, because like the filters and the views are interrelated, and we need to switch tabs to get to one or other.
One thing I was thinking is regarding the UIs, is it like it looks like mirror of what we already have, but I think the button should be also on the same side, because user will likely go to the left side for action menu, or it's look little odd if the three dots are on the starting, because I don't think if that's on other places.
I think the three dots is on the start and also on the left here.
Yeah. What I meant was, okay, sorry, I got confused. So
Yeah, left, right.
it's looking a little odd because usually it's little away from user. I thought.
Yeah, he just means inverted, and it's a really great question. And for my part, I don't know. It'd be nice if others on the call, Husseina, Mario, Others might have a perspective. So I think most of us are familiar with creating a design, and we deal with that on the left-hand side of the screen. And there's designs are listed as individual files, and you can drag them over. And we were just demoing some of those features. When people switch into that operational mode and they go into this visualizer area, well, they're going to want, over time, they're going to curate their views, what they're looking at. They're going to set particular filters, look for certain labels, etc. And they might say, well, this view represents my such and such app, or this view represents prod or whatever. And after they've curated it, they may want to just give it a name and save the view. That'll make it easier to come back and recall that individual recall and call up different. I'm trying to think of a word other than views, but like the different perspectives of their infrastructure. And it'll also facilitate multiplayer mode. So if you have a named view and it's been defined in terms of what it's filtering, what it's looking at, you can share that view with someone else, and then you're both looking at the same thing. So you can both interact with it on the same, separately, but on the same canvas. So that's wonderful. As you guys are iterating on this and bringing it forth, the idea, it looks like, is that people would name their view, that there'd be a list of those on the right-hand side, and they can recall those by clicking on them or by click and drag over. Maybe they can combine views in that way. I mean, it's very similar to how designs are dealt with. And one of the things that Pranav is openly wondering, and I wonder if others on the call have a perspective, is that this right-hand side sidebar is not a mirror image of the left-hand side sidebar, meaning it's not inverted, meaning it didn't like flip over. It means it just it's a straight copy. And so good, there's merit to that, I think, somewhere. And then there's merit to maybe flipping it over. And so I wonder if other people have perspectives.
Yeah, you were making the right point. It should be inverted. It's not inverted right now.
Yeah, if you can help, good. Thank you for saying that, Shlok. Any amount of justification that you can tack on behind that is helpful.
The thing is, in the design view, we are using the left-hand side to left-hand side. Can someone please open the design view? Yeah. In the design here, we can see those components which we drag from left-hand side. And when we switch to visualize, everything, we are just inverting it, in my opinion. So everything is on the right-hand side. But those icons which Pranav mentioned, that 3 dots, they are still towards the left hand side of that particular item, so it's not completely inverted, as it's making sense.
Yep, you just said the same. Good. Any additional justification you said the same thing twice in a different way, but you didn't justify why it is. One of the reasons why is because but thank you for calling this out. This help. One of the reasons why, maybe Abid's about to say it, and that is that the user is likely to run over the ellipse, the action menu a bit more often than they might want to. They might, that's the most egregious potential challenge. I don't know.
Yeah, also whenever there is some list or menu on the right-hand side of the screen, the menu item is on the right-hand side also, like the menus whenever on the edge. But one thing is if we completely invert it and also put the labels on the left side, then it would get a bit ugly, I think, because labels should be still the public and private visibility labels should be still on the right-hand side rather than on the left. Before, they should not precede the name.
Also, the order that we are following, then it will be changed. So,
like the avatar order, collaborators. But for the menu, I think that makes sense to be inverted.
Yeah, it's in all or nothing, probably. all the way, like you either put everything, and so it would be right aligned and not left aligned. It would be literally a mirror image. So there would be, and so anyway, a mock-up of that. And if you were to share that in the discussion forum or something, I think that would, folks like Schlock, who again, like for the third time, I'll say thank you, Schlock, for speaking up and offering something. I was hopeful that Mario or Husseina might have something, like some amount of feedback. And with that, I guess we're at the end of the call.
Yeah, so I think that's the end of the call. Thank you everyone for joining. Don't forget to join tomorrow's newcomers call and Meshery build and release call. You should be able to get the link for that on meet.lff.io. And that's it for today. Thank you all for joining. See you in the next one.
Bye everyone.